out.
You good? Yo, how's it going, Dorsha?
Hi, nice to meet you.
So yes, would you like to introduce to the people who you are, please?
So I am Dorsha, also known as Creative Blurred, and I'm a graphic designer in the gaming industry.
Sick. So would you like to give kind of the people what you do in the game industry?
So I currently work with brands, creating visual graphics for their campaigns or helping streamers with maybe their overlays from time to time. So I could be working on a campaign for a launch or something, or maybe just a streamer graphic, or maybe a launch of another brand. So I do that. I also do content creation and streaming, which I've taken a slight break on because mental health. But I just basically help everyone be creative.
Nice. And we'd like to kind of roll back. So in terms of your creativity, have you always been a creative person from young?
Yes.
When did that kind of your creative spark?
So I actually started using Photoshop in secondary school. So I've always been into creative things. When I was in primary school, I used to draw a lot, and I wanted to be a fashion designer and an IT technician. Very different combos. But I guess I'm in creative tech now, so that works. But yeah, I started using Photoshop in secondary school. I used to make things that were called produckies back in the day, where you just made graphics for people. We used to play about and use Pixo, and so that's where it started. It was always for fun initially, and then it just became my career. Who knew I was building a career at the time?
So obviously, that's actually pretty sick. Not a lot of people get to use Photoshop from a young age. So did you kind of had an idea that was going to be a career, but then you also said you was in fashion?
Yeah, I didn't know. Honestly, it was just, for me, it was a hobby at the time. So I even thought maybe I'll go and study it. And then I was like, no, I don't want to, because it's just for fun for me. And I didn't think that I'm doing it for a career. It literally was just for fun, making MySpace layouts or just designing a little, you had your tag name and you'd be like, oh, put your picture and maybe put a little bling on your earring. It was literally all for fun. And then, so everything I know about the Adobe suite is just self-taught.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
Is your MySpace still up?
No, I don't even remember the password, and I really want to see it.
Hey,
I have pictures on there that I would like to find, so it would be great. But I feel like they deleted everyone's MySpace.
They got rid of everyone's MySpace?
I think they deleted old accounts, so if you go on it now, it would be just
void.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
unfortunately.
MySpace days were the one, man.
It were with your top friends
up there.
the music, you had your top friends as well. People would be like, oh, I want to be in your top friends. Good times.
There was a good time. So actually, yeah, what did you think you was going to be kind of growing up? Because that's always a question that some people have or some people don't
I
have.
thought I was going to be doing performing arts. That was actually something I was really interested in, singing, because I used to dance. I only stopped dancing about 3 years ago, actually. And I used to think I would go into singing, dancing, acting. I was like, yeah, I'm going to performing arts. I'll go to college and do that. But, growing up from, different generation of parents, it was like, no, you're doing your A-levels. So I just went into marketing, which I still enjoy. And I ended up here.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And how's it been in marketing?
I really enjoy it. I really like marketing. I think for me, it's very interesting because you get to kind of think how whatever you're creating, whether it's a campaign or a design, how that resonates with other people, and kind of, it's a mind game almost, because you have to think about what they want or what would make someone tick. So I kind of enjoy that aspect of marketing, just thinking, okay, what is their decision-making process here? Yeah. And why is somebody going to pick this over that? So it's interesting.
What's been your most favourite kind of marketing campaign or campaign that you've worked on?
That I've worked on. I think it would be the Rainbow Six extraction. So an agency did their UK campaign, I think it was last year or the year before. And it was such a big campaign across the board because they had different captains for different teams. It was like a big tournament. So I had to make graphics for everything and the T-shirts. So seeing the captains of their T-shirts as well, that was kind of cool. I like seeing things come to life.
Yeah.
Even though it's very digital, and having something that's tangible is it's nice. So that was my favorite, still to this day. Yeah.
Rainbow Six Siege is a sick game.
Yeah, it was.
Kavira, I hate Kavira.
I haven't actually gotten into the game properly.
Not?
I have it though.
But Kavira,
I think working on it for so long, it was just like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah, no, and I forget Rainbow Six has been around for a long time.
It's been a while.
Kudos to them, they've been around for a very, very long time, and they've still kept it
exactly. Everyone seems to be enjoying it still. It looks good.
Yeah.
So
Kavira always, she's always on job, man, in that game. Always getting taken out by her, man. But yeah, that's pretty sick. And actually, like you said, being a designer is actually interesting. You said you got you like that aspect of tangibility.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool having.
It's very digital.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just see your stuff on screens, which is still cool. So but if I see in an event, it's much I like to walk into a room oh wow, I did this. or see it in person. It kind of reminds you of what you're doing.
Yeah, that's nice.
You just send it off and it's like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, no, I heard that. If you had to describe a perfect day for you, how would that go?
So in the ideal world, I would wake up early and I would, have a quiet moment in the morning. I wouldn't check my phone. I would have a coffee. I love a good mocha. And then I maybe would watch an episode of something just to ease into the day before checking my emails. And then once I've had like me time, maybe get into my emails and then, speak with clients and then maybe go to a studio space. I would love to be like creative direction on a set. So working with people if they're doing maybe a photo shoot or a video shoot and just kind of like maybe do this, try that, and then maybe have my laptop with me so that I can still do some graphic work on the side. I think that would be a cool day for me. I would love to just go out and be in the mix of people and work with other creatives and then come home and then like put all that to good use and get into the software and make something. I kind of like that blend of working people and then getting on your computer and just sorting it out. Yeah.
No, collaboration work is definitely really enjoyable because you just get to like learn.
You bounce off exactly. There's perspectives that you won't have naturally that somebody else might have from their own walk. So I like talking to other creatives.
So that's really nice.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. And have you had a chance to kind of get into that mix or have that kind of experience?
Kind of, because my friendship group is quite creative anyway. There's like people who do photography and some other people are designers as well. So sometimes we just get to like bounce off ideas, or we sit in Discord sometimes and we'll all be working together. And if we can share our screens, we will. But if it's like client projects, confidential, like we won't share. But sometimes we just get to bounce back and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Or we'll invite each other to like days out and just walk with our cameras sometimes, see what we get.
Yeah.
That's
really good. I think I think a lot more people should try to do that as well. Like just people around you, like regardless of what field that they're doing.
Exactly. You just never know. They might have an idea, a random like take on something that you just didn't think about. Yeah. Because we're always stuck in our inbox anyway. Especially when you have creative block. That's the best time to just go outside. Just go outside.
It's either nap or just
nap. Like... I nap is my best solution to everything. I don't want to deal with this. I'm going to sleep.
No, for sure. So, currently, what's going on with your career? Like, what's on the horizon for you?
So, I'm currently doing a lot of projects with Black Girl Gamers at the moment. So, they're working on a lot of different things. So I'm currently helping them put that on. I'm working with Saga as well. So, it's just, kind of supporting everyone on their like graphic work. They're focusing on getting the product out. So, it's my job to just make sure that that is in order on the side so that they can focus on putting the best into that. So that's where I'm at the moment, just literally helping everyone focus on their launches for different projects and ideas whilst I do all the graphic work behind the scenes. So that's kind of my focus at the moment. I think, I would just love to work with more brands on doing that. I think a lot of campaigns sometimes go live and I'm just like, graphics, guys, like we need something. I think visual is always a good way, especially on social media. We scroll for ages. So I think being able to grab someone's attention before they can read anything is always important. So that's where I'm at now, just helping everyone behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's really good. And it's obviously like amazing to hear that you're working with the likes of Black Girl Gamers.
Yes, I love working with them. Yeah, it's good to work with people that you can relate to as well. And they helped me a lot when I first entered the industry. So it's nice to also be able to support in that way. So we kind of like you help me, I can help you too. So it's nice,
that networking kind of
exactly
handshake. So actually you just touched on that. So what was your entry into the gaming space?
My entry was content creation and streaming because before I was living in the corporate world and I just knew that whilst I can do the job well, it's not me. I would like to be an audience to the stuff I work on because sitting in meetings I like seeing people being passionate. And I'm like, wow, you really can talk about this, but I can't because I'm not an audience to it. I'm just doing the job. So I wanted to be in the industry. So for me, I was like, it's a hard industry to get into. You can't just arrive and say, I've got transferable skills. As much as the world likes to say, just say this, say that. It's really I found that it's about who you know in this industry. So I was like, maybe I should enter on something I know I can do. I can stream, I can edit. I love video editing. So I was like, I'll be on YouTube. So I just started making videos for YouTube initially and then got onto Twitch. And things just started happening. And that's when people noticed that I could actually do design work because I would just design my own stuff and people, who did your overlays or who did that? And I'm like, me. Who did the video? I'm like, hi, me again.
I did this, I did that.
So that started to like come out a bit more and then I just you just network. You go to events, you meet people and don't do it just to, make network. Oh, let me say hi to this person just so I can get maybe like a job or a client. But just, yeah, be authentic and just wormed my way around and made a lot of friends.
Yeah, that sounds it.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear everybody's kind of entry into the game space, because it comes from like so
It's
many
so different for
variables.
everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people just end up in it.
Yeah.
They didn't even mean to.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I think that's the beauty of it, because it's good to hear how people have come in, because like I said, we've come from like a design background.
Yeah.
And then obviously we're doing games. Obviously you've come from a design background as well, but you used to obviously come through the videography side.
Yeah.
And then found your feet that way, which is really cool.
It's interesting. I think it also shows that there's just so many different ways. So because somebody else might be looking in like, how am I? They don't realize they have a skill that can really be beneficial. They might think they have to learn something, or I don't know.
And how has that transition been from like kind of corporate life to like kind of freelancing now?
I mean, freelance is, everyone thinks, oh, you work really hard 9 to 5. Freelance, there's no balance. It's 24/7. So you can't just like, you have to do the work. It's not like working in a 9 to 5 corporate environment where even if you don't do something at this time, you know, you can get it done eventually. You've got a team to lean on, or, you know, you're getting paid regardless. Freelance is you have to do the work, especially like for me, I'm a one-man band. So it's trying to balance everything, and you might find yourself replying to emails at, you know, random hours of the day, or on a weekend you're still doing work, and it's like, you have to, I'm learning a lot to set boundaries, because I think initially I was like everything, and now I just got really burnt out, took a long break, and I'm just like, okay, I need to look at this, maybe schedule emails instead of trying to like reply to them at certain times. So I think the difference, the transition has been quite cool, because I get to work on more fun stuff. I feel like I get to be more authentic. I'm not like in someone else's box, because I think even when you're working for corporate or in a team, they say be creative, have your ideas, but it's still in a limit.
Yeah.
There's still things you can't do. There's budgets to work with. You can't be that, you know, it's what the client wants at the end of the day. Whereas for me, I get to have that conversation, go back and forth and say, well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Because I think sometimes people just want what they want. But as a designer, it's not always about what you want. It's what actually makes sense for what you're doing. I think people forget that there's a purpose to design. It's not just always aesthetic. So yeah, I think the transition for me it's been an interesting one, but I've enjoyed it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. and like you're saying, that you're understanding both sides of it as well.
Yeah.
And I think you've probably managed to learn from that is the corporate side of things, you know what I mean? Doing it in those type of time frames, and then being able to transition into freelance and being like, okay, cool, like the clientele understanding this and that business side, and being able to like...
So yeah, it's been helpful, I guess, coming from the corporate background. You kind of learn how to deal with a lot of clients. Like people always say, oh, you're quite good with managing like stressful clients. I'm like, clients aren't actually that stressful. Sometimes, you know, you have the people you work with and you're like, oh, this is a lot. But most of the time, it's not that they're, you know, actually stressful or anything. It's just they have their vision, you have yours. It's just asking them questions like, why? Okay, you don't want this, but why though? Just so you can see where they're coming from.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can struggle with understanding the why. It's not just like the end products that there needs to be the beginning, because that plays a big part to how it ends up.
Okay, why did you suggest this? Like, sometimes I don't question it. Yeah, like sometimes I'm like, cool, I'll just do it. But sometimes I'm like, especially if you've shared the whole, like if I'm working with you from the beginning and I know the reasons, and I'm have to question you at every stage, because this is not just a, hey, Dorsha, can you just do a quick turnaround for me? It's like, this is a full-on project. Can we, you know?
So you said you kind of started doing video creation. Was that your first job, or was it kind of, what was your first job in the game space?
In the game, like an official job, or just like...
Yeah, or like...
I would say, because when I entered, I was doing content creation for a while, and I was just doing my graphic design work always. And then my first like official industry job was I worked in PR for a bit, which was a different experience, because even though I come from a marketing background, PR is quite different to marketing. I think it's very similar. They get blended quite a bit, but there's still different end goals. So I worked for PR for a little bit, but I think design is just where I'm at.
Yeah, you found your home.
That's my home. It was good to like experience it, because I think sometimes when you're entering a new industry, finding your feet is really difficult, because it's like you can be interested in so many different things, but you have to try it. I always tell people, give yourself grace, try things out. If it doesn't work, if you don't like it after a while, that's okay. At least you know you tried it, you learned something in that time process. You can try something else until you find your feet, because you meet people in something for 10 years and they'll still switch their career at some point if they want to. So yeah, that was like my first entry point, but design is my home.
You've come back.
Creative is my home.
No, I like that. So obviously, yeah, it sounds like you've managed to experience, managed to explore. Like, what would you say is one of the most important lessons you've learned?
Boundaries.
Yeah. Okay.
Boundaries. I think even if you're not a freelancer, just the gaming industry is very full on. I think even if you're just a streamer, it's like there's a thin line between managing a community and then everyone also being entitled to your personal space and your time. Especially even like when you work in the gaming industry, your Twitter is almost like a LinkedIn as well. So there's no like, I've got my Twitter and no one knows, like you're literally on, it's in your bio, there's no balance. So unless you have like a separate account, everything is just there. So I think it's boundaries because you're going to events all the time. So, you're networking, you're meeting people. It's the balance between being professional and also being really friendly. So yeah, boundaries I think is something I'm learning to enhance, to just work with a bit more and know when to switch on, when to switch off and say, okay, I'm just me today. I'm just a creative blurred. And then, okay, it's time to work. So that's been a thing for me to learn with this industry, yeah.
Yeah, that's really important. I think boundaries is definitely, I think in life as well, boundaries is very important. And once you kind of figure that out, it makes your day kind of
it reduces stress, honestly. If you could just set the boundary with yourself and know, cool, this is it, this is that. And yeah, it's boundaries for sure.
Nice. So what are some of the perks you really enjoy about within the games industry or your job?
Oh, I like, that's a good question. I think going to events is something I like, actually, because you just meet different people, you see different things, and also gather inspiration sometimes, because even if I see a gap somewhere, I'm like, oh, they should have done this. That inspires me, like, when I'm working with someone else, to be like, maybe think about how your work actually presents itself in public. Like, you can design things, or when we're actually at the event, how does that actually, come across? And I think another perk for me would be working with cool people and getting to hear all the like fun things, because I always know what's happening even before it's launched. So I get to be like, oh, we're working on this cool idea and I can't wait for you to tell everyone. It's like, I can't speak about what I'm working on right now, but I'm excited for them to launch because it's just like, yes, more things. So I think that's been a perk for me. It's just going to events, working with people behind the scenes and just meeting new people all the time. It's nice.
It's one of those things where it's like, you don't know who you're going to meet.
You don't know who you're speaking to.
Yeah, who you're speaking to, which is a good and bad thing because you're waved out.
But I always tell people, just, it doesn't matter like what you're doing, even if only one person is, if you have a blog, if only one person's reading it, if you're streaming, only one person's watching, you just never know. Because there's opportunities I've had and they were like, yeah, we've been watching you for a while. And I'm like, I wouldn't have thought, but so it's an interesting.
Nice. And what events have you been to recently?
Recently, I think what's the most recent event I went to? I know it was at Red Bull. I think it was for Convergence, which was a League of Legends game. So they were launching that and we got a chance to play the demo of it. So that was really cool. I enjoyed that actually. I met a lot of different people and some attendees were cosplayed as the character. And it was actually a black character, the main character. So it was actually quite nice to see. It's nice to see yourself.
That's been a very like big conversation with us as well. It's just like, with Comic-Con and like dressing up, you're always dressing up as a character, but you have to convert.
You have to, and then you get the but this character wasn't. It's just like, guys, please, we wouldn't be. It's not our fault. We would like to just be ourselves too, but
don't keep on doing the black Luigi or the black Mario or the black Zelda as much.
Exactly.
And outside of outside of it, because obviously it sounds like you're a very bubbly person.
Yeah.
It seems like you've been to was it Reese's Land?
Reese's Land,
yeah,
I absolutely enjoyed that. That was like a good time. I think it's really nice to see people, because I've been going to the events from like when it was way smaller. So seeing it go to something that big, 7,000 people in a funfair venue, and no problems, everyone's just there, good vibes. It was really fun.
And it was in Margate?
It was in Margate.
But that threw me off.
We got the coach ticket.
That's sick.
Just get us there, get us home. We were right. It was great, and the coach was fun because everyone's on you're there together, the same journey. So it was actually a really good event, yeah.
No, fair enough.
They need to do it again in like the heat of summer, like today's weather.
Festivals in this weather is techie though.
I know, but when it's nighttime, it gets a bit cold. When the sun goes down, it's like, ooh.
You get the sun.
You remember that you're outside. I brought a hoodie with me, thankfully, so I was like, yeah, this is coming on.
Mature thinking, yeah, that is very mature thinking. So yeah, just wanted to dive into the industry, and we like to hear other people's like opinions and like for yourself, obviously being a black female, how has it been for you in the space?
It's draining, I'll be honest. Whilst it's fun because you get to meet like people like yourself and you get to build that nice community and everyone can bounce back, I feel like we're constantly in a place of masking a lot. Because when you enter a scene, you have to feel like, so for me, whenever I've entered certain environments, I don't feel like I'm just being me. I'm always myself, but I feel like I'm also representing other people. So if I have to show up because I'm also like, how do I explain it? If I do something wrong, it might ruin maybe somebody else's, opportunity. They might be like, oh, this is why we don't hire them, or this is why we don't work with, black women in the industry. And we really are like, we're not seen enough. I think recently they've been trying. I've seen a lot of new games recently, the Summer Games Fest. A lot of the characters are actually like, black characters. I'm seeing more, black women. But it's definitely an interesting one to navigate because I'm always aware that I am a black woman. Like if I didn't know before, I know I am now. Yeah. So, but it's also nice at the same time because when you do meet other people like yourself, building that bond, building that community and speaking about it together and thinking, okay, how do we navigate this? How do we make it easier for us or for the next set? Because even though I found it a bit difficult, my journey has been a bit more smooth compared to those that were there before me. They've done all the hard work. So I've never really had but like when I first joined the industry, even doing content creation, I had a lot of good opportunities really early because everyone else had done the work so that we could enter and be a bit more. So I think now it's our turn, like the little things we find still missing, it's okay, what do we do? But
nice.
Yeah.
That's good. And seeing that you're part of the Limit Break committee,
yes.
How's that been?
It's been really nice actually. So I'm working with them like, because they had one graphic designer last year, but they needed another one just because there's a lot of different things coming out. So working with them has been quite cool. And the person I work with, we're actually both on Black Twitch UK community. So we get to like work and play together. It's been nice meeting other people because there's so many different people on the committee that you probably wouldn't normally speak to, like the UI UX designer at PlayStation, a manager at PlayStation, the producer at PlayStation. Everyone's like mixed.
Drop some names, man. Don't be shy to give a little shout out.
Like working with like Era Wave, that's their name on social media. They're just a dare to work with because they were there before me. Being able to be like, okay, I need quick help, or how do I use this? It made me learn a new software, Figma. It's something I'm learning with them now. That's been really fun to use, actually. I was a bit scared of it before, but really fun. So working with them has been good. It's made me learn a whole new software in the space of a couple of weeks. And you just get to speak to different people, and we all have different ideas that we bring. And I think everyone respects each other's like design perspective. We get to be like, oh, this is what I've done, but what do you think? And then we talk about it and find like a middle ground, and it's nice. It's
nice to have that like open circle friends and like get constructive criticism. And
exactly.
Like, it's not coming from like a malice or malicious
exactly.
way.
Where it's like this is not it. It's like no, actually, maybe try that or how. So okay, that's a good point actually.
Yeah,
so
it's nice. It's good
it's nice. It's nice working with them.
Nice. If you can change one thing about the industry, what would it be?
Ooh, the representation from like for us, because I think that's my pain point with this industry. It's, even though they're trying, I still feel like there's been too many talks about diversity and representation. There's always a panel about this. I don't want diversity to just be in the months. Like you don't want to just be black in October if being in the UK. Even if it's not about race, just in general, like just I want to see that on a day-to-day basis, because people always say, oh, why do you guys, you're on the front page on Twitch just because it's Black History Month. I mean, we wouldn't have to be if it was just the thing. We wouldn't have to take up the space and people are like, oh, you're using it, you're playing the race card to get these brand opportunities. We wouldn't have to if it was just the norm. So I think being more open, it's a game, it's games, like it's literally just games. It's not real. It's all fantasy. We should have fun with it. If we can make, animals fly around and, build machines as enemies like Horizon, then we should just also all be included. I think that's what I would like to see more from the industry, just more honest openness when it comes to accepting all walks from life and not just saying that you're about diversity, but actually showing it. Because I think a lot of companies do the whole, yeah, we're here for diversity, but if you look in the company, that doesn't exist. And even when you do hire like diverse people, how do you manage them when you've hired them? How do you talk to them? Because everyone has different walks of life, carries different burdens. They might arrive and do things way differently because they've had to do things differently all their lives. So we do things differently naturally. Maybe we're more quiet because we just have had to always work extra like hard. So yeah, I would like to see it a bit more diverse. I don't always want to be the only black person in the room when I go to an event, or find my people really easily. Like, oh, there we go. I'm just gonna go and find them. I don't want to do that. So yeah, just open.
Yeah. So yeah, no, diversity is a very, very important vocal. It's tough as well. I think it's a conversation that I feel that it's been spoken about, but we do feel like the industry that certain actions need to be done differently. From our side, we think it's definitely needs to be built up for more like grassroots as well, like actually helping the youth come up.
Exactly, yeah.
Because we were kind of speaking it earlier on, like the perception of the games industry or just what you can do in the games industry, I think is still very scarce. Like it's still blurred.
Looking in, it can be off-putting if you don't actually know all the things that are open to you in the industry. Because growing up, it wasn't a thing for me. I played games, didn't ever think I could work in it though. That was just it didn't even cross my mind that I could just work in gaming. Didn't ever cross my mind. It was not an option. So yeah, I think it would be nice for youth to know they can do that. And I know there are more courses about gaming now, but just maybe even just small talks, workshops with them, just something.
To get them a step in, yeah. So what do you think is like a big misconception about the game industry?
That it's like easy. It's just fun. It's just game. You're just playing games. How can it be? It's really demanding. The gaming industry is really demanding no matter what part of it that you're in, especially if you're a content creator, you have to always be on show. You just always have to be ready. You have to present yourself always. You just never know who's watching you. If you're working behind the scenes, there's a lot of crunch time moments because there's a schedule that you have to follow and everything's really fast. So you always have to be like ready. You don't know where your competition is coming from. You just always have to be on wall. So I think everyone who's not in the industry assumes, that must be so fun. You just get to do cool events and you just get to play games and you're relaxing. No, it's actually really difficult.
Impact the mental health.
It's really hard to balance because it's work and play merged into one. Whereas some people, if you're maybe in the corporate world, that's your work. Some people, that's their work and play. They love it. But if you're doing work and then you can have your play on the weekends or whatever. Whereas gaming, it's like work and play always, because even when I was working in PR, there's times you have to play the games for a critical standpoint. Like, we're playing it, how do we feel? Or if you're trying to create a strategy, you need to play the game so that you can think, how would this, resonate with the audience? What should we do? So it becomes less about play and you just feel like you're working always. So now even when I'm playing games, I'm always like paying attention to little things because I've had to. So I'm like, Dorsha, you're playing a game. You don't need to criticize certain things. I'm like, oh, look at this graphic. Oh, that animation wasn't well. And I'm always like, the voice isn't matching I'm just paying attention too much. So yeah, I think the misconception is that it's just easy. All fun and games, literally.
Sometimes I can relate because with model making, like with movies, you're thinking, oh, like, I know how that's done. That's fake. It's that green screen. It's that
exactly.
Props. And you just like, just shut up.
Just enjoy the experience. Stop analysing.
Stop critiquing.
Exactly.
Have you been able to get that balance though of like shutting off?
It's been hard. Recently, I'm trying really hard to have balance. So I just took a massive break from just streaming and stuff because for me, gaming was always escapism. Before working in it, it was just what I got to, long day at work, just come in, play games. I don't have to remember, this happened today. You kind of forget what you're doing when you're focusing on somebody else's storyline. And now when I'm playing a game, I'm like, oh, this would be good content. Or maybe I should stream this. And so I had to take a big break and just remember, like, I need games to be for me as much as it is for other people. I do enjoy sharing my experiences, but I think, I've managed to find the balance now. So playing games off streams, just like, cool, I'm just gonna start a game. It's not gonna be for YouTube. It's not gonna be for Twitch. It's not gonna be for work. I'm not gonna critique it. I'm just going to enjoy and pace at my own time. So yeah, it's been a hard one to find balance for, but I think I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's nice. And how's gaming been for, let's say, for your mental health? Because I guess a lot of, like you just said, as a place to escape.
Yeah.
Do you get that sense of escapism?
I do, but there are times when it's just like, I need to turn this off. Some games are really frustrating, you know, when I'm playing Apex, as much as I love the game, there are weeks when I'm like, it makes me feel so rubbish because you just feel so bad sometimes. It's like, damn, I'm letting the team down. So there's days when I've switched off everything, I'm like, I'm done. But it really there's days when I can't do anything else. I'm really having like a down day. I'm just gonna turn on the game. I can't think about anything, so I'm just gonna play the game because then I kind of forget about everything else. So it definitely has helped my mental health from time to time, just being able to just zone out, pick up a controller, focus on someone else's problems in the game and not mine. So yeah, it's definitely been, it's nice.
And you was at the BAFTA like mental health summit.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, how was that?
I enjoyed it actually. It's nice to hear people actually speak about it because I think a lot of people now are trying to be more aware of like mental health. I know that everyone has different things that they deal with, but it's nice to hear from people that are working in the spaces because we can scream about it, we can talk about it, but it's really up to the people working in those high positions to be like, okay, we need to implement things in the company. And I think it's always been a bit of a taboo to speak about your mental health. And the realest thing is that a lot of people play games as a form of escapism anyway. Not that we're all running away from problems, that's not what I mean, but just it is something that we get to just indulge in. So I think it was nice to hear people speak about balancing as well. So there were so many different conversations about balancing being professional and still enjoying your life, managing toxic community, because that is something in the gaming. Doesn't matter what you look like, it's just a toxic environment sometimes. But yeah, it was good. I think it should be spoken about more often, especially in gaming, because a lot of the people that work, even behind the scenes on doing the design or the artwork, it's the crunch time. You know, we get to play the game and just be like, oh, but somebody really sat there for hours making that environment, making that character. And then for everyone to come out and complain and say really nasty comments when things go wrong, it's like, guys, they're human. Like, take time a little bit. We can obviously complain, but make it constructive a little bit, just a tad.
Yeah, I think humanizing, it's a weird one. I think, like, I understand, especially if you're buying a product, you know, yes, like, someone's made it, you've bought a product, you spent your hard money earning it, but it's humanising that effect, that's still
somebody really is working on that. Like, they've been working on it for ages, and it's hard. Especially you have to working in big studios, you probably have to listen to so many different voices and opinions, last minute changes, something, or you drop the game and it's like, oh, we've got to change that, we've got to patch this up. So I think if people could just relax, just suckle a little bit, take time.
Is there something in the industry you're looking forward to?
I mean, I would like to see where it goes. I think technology is growing, and as you know, AI is arriving. I don't know how I feel about AI just yet, but there's all the VR, and there's just so many different things. I would like to see how the industry, you know, moves with that. What will we be playing games on in future? You know, Apple's just dropped they're launching a new VR like headset. What does that mean for gamers? Are we going to be able to just sit in bed maybe and play? Is that going to be a thing?
Or that conversation of screens not being close to your
exactly.
eyes.
Is that going to be a thing where I can just sit in bed? I know there's VR headsets, but that's still a lot of movement. But is there going to be a thing where I can be in bed with my controller, but just looking directly at it? Is that even good for our eyesight? Who knows? But I think, I'm looking forward to seeing how it grows and how it changes, and if it can be more diverse at the same time. I just want to see where things blend well and it's not so
caged and
because it is gaming. Like, even though I was saying it's a misconception that it's just fun and games, it is still gaming. We should be able to enjoy, like, everyone relax, take a chill pill, let's enjoy it, let's make it fun, let's collaborate. It doesn't have to feel so chaotic all the time. But.
And AI, are you just, what's that?
Do you know what the thing is for me? I think AI, I don't mind it, but only when it comes to design is where my issue is, because coming from a design background, and everyone can have fun, you know, you put your prompts in and make your image for yourself, that's fine. But when people are using it for like purely design, graphic work, and people have got like 20K, and I might sound a bit salty, but it's just like, if they say you've got 20K followers on Instagram just because you just upload AI, and it's very, even though I feel like we can never be replaced, because if you want something that's bespoke, AI will never give you something purely, it's just prompts. Someone else might be able to get the same design. I don't know how it works behind the scenes, but I think it is a bit disheartening when you see someone create something that you might have spent hours having to learn to do. It's like, what's the point of me learning something if somebody can just type in a prompt and get it done? Like, if someone can make themselves an anime character by put in a few prompts in, what am I learning it for? So that's, I think, my issue with it. it's just disregarding all the hard work that creatives have been literally their whole life trying to cultivate, and now you're here like, did that in 5 minutes. So you might not feel like you have to pay someone for it anymore because you can just, so you feel like you're losing a bit of work. Also, it's stealing from other people's designs to make a design. I've seen a lot of situations where people are recognizing their work in the AI and they've done like side by side, and it's like literally it's there. You can see exactly where it's been mixed up. But yeah, me and AI are a bit, I don't mind the like, I tried GPT the other day.
Yeah.
That was cool. Because I was just trying to like design for fun. And I was just like, hey, I want a brief for this and that. I'm like, I'm working on some Twitch overlays for fun. Can you give me 5 themes? And it just dropped 5 themes. I'm like, oh, do you have any color suggestions? Dropped all these suggestions. I was like, okay, this is actually for that use. I think if you're using it to enhance your processes, that's fine. If you're using it to be more organized, great. If you need it to, maybe you need a lot of emails, you need to write something, you can use it. But I think where it's in the design world, I'm not really a fan.
Yeah, no, I understand that it can like diminish an individual's or creative like craftsmanship.
Because I've been doing that.
Craftsmanship, yeah.
That took me 12 hours, but it just took you 5 minutes, sure.
Yeah, and it's just like there's more to it than, like we were saying, there's more to just the end product. It's like the journey, the story, like, because you can essentially pull out certain things from something. You know, you've had 4 designs. Yeah, you've picked this one, but then there's other 4. Do you know what? I might actually go and like revise that and switch it and turn it to something else.
So AI, I don't think it will ever really replace creatives, but it is disheartening sometimes. But I'm sure like we can't be replaced. I think if a company really wants something bespoke, they're always going to go to the creative for whatever it is. So we should be fine.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So with that, like, where do you like usually find yourself drawing inspiration from in terms of like websites? Are you like a book person?
I'm a Pinterest girl. I love a good Pinterest. Like I have, that's the email I don't mind receiving every day for new recommendations, because it's just everything I look at, it just cultivates it. I open Pinterest, I'm like, oh, I save everything to a board. I like to go on Behance, but I also get my inspiration from just living. So if I'm walking like outside, I might see something on a billboard. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Even sometimes clothes. Like when I watch a lot of like fashion and interior design like TV shows, and sometimes I'm just like, oh, that would be a cool design aspect. Or that's a really nice color palette, even though it's just like an outfit. I'm like, that'd be a cool actual design. And there might be some, the way it's cut, that I'm like, oh, that could be this, that. So I think I just like to look at things, pretty things, draw my attention, and that's where I just get inspiration from, and just talking to different people as well.
Yeah, I think you reposted a pink. It was like brickwork countertop on your Twitter. It looked actually pretty sick.
Wait, what was it?
It was like fluorescent pink, like countertop.
Oh yes, in the middle. Oh yeah. I saw that and I was just like, I want this one day.
Your dream house, would it just be like full on
just color? Yeah, and I used to shy away from color quite a lot, and I'm like, why? I absolutely love it. So now I'm like trying to embrace it more. I think my dream of like house or apartment would be, I like white walls, so I would naturally stick to that. But then frames of artwork just everywhere, maybe like a green chair somewhere or pink, just color. I want to walk into a room because you live there. You want to be also inspired by your environment. I'm someone that's always changing my environment because I work from my room. So people are like, oh, Dorsha, you just did your desk, like you've just changed your artwork. I'm like, yeah, because I need to feel different always. If I feel stagnant, then my creative block is just going to be even worse. So yeah, everything.
What's your most recent addition to your?
Oh, my most recent addition. Oh, I think it'd be there's a new artwork on my you can't see it in my video stuff, but it's just on my wall. It's like a line art. It's black and white, but I like it because it's black and white in the midst of my colourful bedroom. So that's been, I like to look at it sometimes.
Is it, who's the artist? Or?
I don't actually know. I got it from Desenio, I think it was, just online, just random print.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I like this. I don't think I remember. I don't remember who. I'll check that.
Is there an artist that you're like your favorite artist, or an artist that you just like?
I think their name is Hill. Is it Hilfer Clint? I'm really bad with names. I think it's Hilfer Clint. I might have to. Can I check?
Yeah.
I remember the name. Hilmer Clint.
So obviously, you're drawing your inspiration from Pinterest. The internet's been amazing for that, and your AI. You've obviously, hopefully, you come to terms with AI fully, or it just I think it just needs that space to be refined and
it just needs to be used well.
But used well.
Use it in your processes, that's fine, but don't use it to completely eradicate someone else's hard work.
Which would be good. So, is there a skill you're looking to learn or improve on?
Yes, I would love to learn 3D. I've been saying this for like 4 years. I just need to do it. I really like 3D. I feel like it adds a lot of depth and dimensions because, I mean, that's what it is. So it's just, I would like to, I design a lot of 2D stuff, very flat images. I try to add depth in my like layering and textures, but I would love to learn 3D. I would love just to make environments. That would be really cool.
Have you got a program in mind or?
Blender's free, so that's where I'm at. But I've seen other like Maya, I think it's called, but it's expensive. So maybe Blender. Blender is where I want to learn that. And then when I've like, if I'm really good at it and I can take it seriously, then I can invest in other software.
Fair enough. And is there one thing everybody should know about? So this is kind of a question where, you know, we like to open it up because there's always something that you don't know about.
Something I should know about. Okay, I'll say this because I've been speaking about it recently. A website called Unblast. I always say, people are like, what is that? It's literally a website. It's like stock images, but it's not stock. So it's where like a lot of different creators upload all their pictures and everything, but it's free for commercial use, which I feel like when you're working in creative, finding things that are free for commercial use is really difficult because sometimes you just need somebody else's like things to add into yours. And there's all these licenses. You don't want to work on a massive project and then years down the line, somebody's saying, hey, copyright, that is ours. So I think Unblast is something everyone can use. You can find anything on there. Literally, like if you just search, if it's Japan, you'll just get loads of people with their pictures of tags. So I kind of use it sometimes in my work. If I want like a certain type of sky, I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And I can like modify it after. But I think Unblast is quite cool. Everyone maybe, depending on what you work in, should know about. Maybe, yeah.
I gotta do a shout. Yeah. So yeah, no, thank you. I think that's everything. That's been a nice roundup. I think it's nice to hear a kind of designer's perspective of being in the games industry.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's not many. You don't really get to hear these like perspectives.
You
or
don't,
these angles.
yeah.
I'm really excited to see, you know, what's on the horizon for you. Is there anything kind of coming up for you this year, or anything that you're looking forward to?
I would like to start my own thing this year, and I'm okay with like speaking about it because I don't really feel like you should talk about things sometimes. But yeah, I'm looking to try and start maybe more of like a design type agent type thing because whilst I enjoy doing it, I'm one man. Like one woman.
Yeah,
it's a lot of things coming in. Whilst I think the problem is there's not many just freelance graphic designers on show. There are designers, it's just they're not loud. So I think everyone will come to me and I've got all these things to work on, but I am just one person. I would like to give work. Something can come and I'm like, this is an amazing thing, but I don't want to be the only one. I don't like being the only one. I don't want to be the person like, yeah, it's just all about me. I would rather you might be better suited for that thing. So I would love to like have a pool of just other creatives that it's like, even if I'm not doing the work, pass it on. Like I work with them, I can recommend them, go to them about it. So I think that's something I would like to work on this year. Just finding all the creatives and just having a little talent pool. So
with that is let the people know where they can find you. Like where.
So I'm Creative Blurred on all platforms. That's Creative and Blurred is just BLERD. I'm on all platforms Creative Blurred. So yeah, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. So yeah, wherever.
How's it been in TikTok? You enjoying it?
Yeah, I scroll for hours. I'm like more of a watcher than a upload. I don't post enough. I'm trying to post, but I spend too much time scrolling. It's actually dangerous, TikTok.
Thank you very much. But yeah, no, I think that is a wrap. If I'm ever free, peace signs in the camera.